Travis Wayne Goodsell. What would life be like if Joseph Smith was not assassinated? The unfortunate thing is, it was inevitable. Because when you go back to the beginning, the whole church was organized because of the inevitable assassination. And I know Mormons don't understand this. They've never done the research in church history. They've just relied on what the prophets have allowed them to know, and have covered up the real truth, just like Mark Hoffman's forgeries and other information that has come forward with September 6th as the church rewrites church history over and over again, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth for us. And so, yeah, the church would not exist had there not been the threat that would eventually take Joseph Smith's life in Carthage jail. And I've done the videos going over the real church history. I even instructed you on how to do your own church history research for yourself, to wade through the errors that are on the internet and the cover-ups. And if you think that it's the worldly ways of lying to us as Mormons, no, it's the church. The church are the ones lying and putting in references to authors' books rather than to the primary source documentation. For one particular case, the arrest of Joseph Smith in 1826. You know, the church has made it so that Wikipedia needs a reference. It's got some author or citation needed in place of the picture of the primary source documentation from the courthouse on that day where Joseph Smith was charged $2.68, I think it was. Yeah. And so, yeah, when you try to tell Mormons that Joseph Smith was murdered by an inside job, and that the current religion is not the original, Mormons get upset with me. I don't understand. I've got YouTube employees who purposely won't show my videos as recommended. I got church prophets ordering my assassination, and so far the people they're ordering to do it suck at assassination attempts. As you can plainly see. They've won in financially destroying me. I can never recover. And so, yeah, people will give me the abuse. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Go get yourself a job. Get a better job. Flipping burgers isn't for adults, they're for teenagers. Oh, child slave labor? Okay, got it. And so, yeah, the Smiths were Congregationalists. And if you have no clue as to what that is, exactly, the church won't tell you. And so that left a vacuum as to their religion. And so it ends up being Lucy Mack Smith, who's the spiritual leader in the home, as Joseph Smith Sr. is just some drunken bum who can't get a job and keep a job. I can't believe that one woman wrote that book that way. If she knew the real church history, she would slunk and hide in shame for what she wrote. Which is what Mormons do every time the church gets exposed. Netflix, murder among the Mormons. Mormons go into hiding. The apologists come out. Truth isn't true. Reality isn't real. The church didn't cover up the documents after paying Mark Hoffman. No, these are not the lies you are looking for. And so Mormons cling to them. Oh yes, yeah, I like that. That's like Star Wars. So yeah, okay. We'll believe you over truth and science. And then James Huntsman, and even he makes the mistake calling tithing a donation. Dear God, are you that filthy rich that you've forgotten that it's required? Oh yeah, for me, tithing's a donation. For the rest of us, 10% is whether we're going to eat or pay for diapers. It's not a donation for us. It's extortion with our lives in the balance. As you get members of the church speaking in conference saying, oh, if you sacrifice your life for the church by paying your tithing, blessings will come. Maybe not in this life, but in the afterlife when you're dead from having paid your tithing and not having enough money to pay for food. I mean, dear God, you're not even supposed to pay tithing if you don't own your own business, of which you base your life on. None of this corporation crap, investing into a stock market. That's not the interest they're talking about. And then, of course, the inverted pentagram, which is that threat that was inevitable that the Smiths would be assassinated. And I can't get the FBI to respond. And yes, I understand the Republicans, including Mike Lee and even Romney, are refusing to vote for the assistance to the new AG, which even him was delayed. But I mean, can't the FBI do things without the Department of Justice? Can't they take down RICO violators? I mean, I understand the Utah FBI are all compromised, so the FBI has to go after our own FBI here in Utah, after the judges, both at state and federal level, the executive, the former executives, and all the attorney generals of Utah. Because Mormons aren't going to convict them. They let him go. He's Mormon. He's innocent. Doesn't Helaman chapter 6, right after verse 22, I think it is, that talks all about that? Or does it start in 22? You know, like, Book of Mormon's no longer the keystone of Mormonism. It's Temple Square's keystone on the Salt Lake Temple. That's the keystone of Mormonism. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith is a false prophet because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said so. Not just because they failed to fulfill his orders to have Zion and New Jerusalem built before 2017, but they have said he's not even a translator. And yeah, I can understand the Book of Mormon is not a translation of ancient Egyptian documents buried in the ground. And if you have no clue as to who the Knights Templar are, with the Holy Grail bloodline from King David, and the Egyptian treasure plates, of which the Pope was upset and ordered their roundup and assassination on Friday the 13th of October. Well, yeah, you have no clue that that's all part of the Smiths' early Freemasonry. Church won't talk about that either. I mean, it probably was stressful enough for them to put that Joseph Smith Sr. was a master mason in Canandaigua. But of course, they don't link it to others who were also there in Canandaigua when Joseph Smith Sr. was a master mason. So, this coming up conference, they're going to do the sustaining vote, and Mormons are going to be clueless. They're not going to hear translator, but they're going to impose it into it. Oh yeah, he's a translator. That's part of it. Why didn't they say it? They never say it. Why don't they? Yeah, Withholding things is proof of its truth. Oh, Kwaku, you dug yourself a deep, dark pit for the church that you just can't pull yourself out of and save the church with. He's the one who did a video talking about his, I think, 5 or 6 proofs of the Book of Mormon, and his last one was plagiarism is proof of its truth. So yesterday I found out from Thinker of Thoughts that Oakes gave a little clip thing where he says, yeah, my mantle as a prophet of God causes Mormons' spiritual witnesses not to hear the words I speak. I can say anything, they'll forget because of their spiritual witness of my mantle. Oh my God. Oh my God. And Mormons get pissed at me because their spiritual witness says that my tone doesn't make them feel good? Yeah. You know, Laman and Lemuel's spiritual witness didn't like the words that were coming out of Nephi's mouth about them. Do you think there might be a comparison? Oh, right. The Book of Mormon is no longer the keystone. We only trust the living prophet. So, it's sickening. I mean, today you're having the sacrament, which was supposed to be the remembrance of the last days Messiah, who is supposed to have the Temple of Zion and New Jerusalem built before 2017. And it's 2021. We're in the coronavirus. This is the comparable coronavirus that Moses went through with the Exodus. And where's Zion? Gone. Doesn't exist. Church of Joseph is false. Church of the inverted pentagram is now the true church. It won. It conquered righteousness. And Mormons don't see it. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, well, if the church commits a crime, it's not considered a crime, and therefore they don't commit a crime. dead because they wouldn't help us with food. And they said it was only going to be temporary and that we had to get a job in order to get money or get food. Oh, God. They've just abandoned Utah Mormons. They had the earthquake, no church assistance. Had the storm the day before Nelson's birthday, no church assistance. Coronavirus, well, only Mormons are putting in food orders to their bishop. But again, bishop saying, you got to get a job. This is only going to be temporary. And we're still in a pandemic over a year now. And there's no end in sight because everybody's lifting the restrictions. Lifting restrictions, we're still in a pandemic. But we're all getting vaccinated. So it's all just a hoax? Really? You guys are gathering to church today. When Nelson, next week, is saying, stay home. We don't want you near us. But they got the vaccine. Why can't they have conference? Why? Maybe it's because we're still in a pandemic and they want to protect themselves and their families, whereas they don't care about you. So, I'm sorry, Mormons, I can't help you. If you won't listen, and I only go by the scriptures. If you hadn't noticed, I quote from the Book of Mormon. That's the big one, because you're Mormon. It's supposed to be your keystone. It even says within it, the word is more powerful than the sword. And yet you're the ones who are using the sword. Oh, dear God. So, yeah, it's a wonderful Mormon life.